Good morning. I'm going on a run today and I'm going to be testing out some snacks. So I'm going to show you guys really quick. I haven't used any of these yet, but I want to try and do some more real food as opposed to just gels and see how my body reacts to it. So I have this right here, Kodiak granola bar. And then, I guess this is baby food, so this is like my equivalent of a gel, maybe. There's two different flavors, but I'm gonna do this one. And then I have 2 fruit strips. And then these granola bites. So all of these snacks, I looked at the carb content and I tried to stay around like 100 to 150 calories per serving with a carb content between like 20 and 30. So like for example, this one's 140 calories and the total carbs is 20 grams. And then these guys, each is 50 calories and the carb content is 12. So 100 for 20, what's 12? 24. So 24 grams of carbs for 100 calories, pretty good. So I'm gonna test these out, see how I feel, and I'm gonna consume them every 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, all right, let's keep getting ready. As far as breakfast, I'm just having some pears. I'm gonna have just a little bit of granola, and then I have some turkey sausage links. So I'm gonna go do that, finish getting ready, and then we'll go.
Okay, 1 or 2 things I wanted to mention on the nutrition side before I start getting into this run. I realized I did not show it, but I do bring electrolytes in my water. Usually half of the water that I'll bring with me, so if I bring 2 liters, 1 liter of it will have electrolytes and the other liter will have just water, or it'll be an electrolyte carb mix for that half, and then the other half is water. On this day in particular, I knew that it was going to be hot, so I did the gnarly margarita mix or flavor, and that is their sodium heavy mix, so it has twice the amount of sodium than their regular electrolytes. I do also know that there's running nutrition out there that has added electrolytes, but I feel like I know more accurately how much I can consume in electrolytes when I'm physically scooping the powder out of the bag and putting it into my water. And honestly, I sweat really easily, so when I exercise just in general, so I do not mess around with my electrolytes. Anyways, PSA, make sure to bring your electrolytes. Back to the video.
Okay, ready. This is actually kind of cute. A little hat.
I do feel
Hat. So it's been about 45 minutes. I am going to wet my shirt in the river here. I'm gonna have a snack. Yeah, I'm gonna have a snack. And then we'll keep going. These guys. Not bad. I mean, it's dry, but what else can you do?
All right, so Salt Lake has been super dry this summer. There has hardly been like any rain, and it was really hot today on this run. Like, it was hot. But what's funny here is that I didn't even plan on going to this trail this day. And originally, when me and Mason headed out for the day, we went to a different trailhead, but there was a race going on. The parking lot was full of tents and cars. And come to find out that this race was actually the exact same route that me and Mason were planning to go on. So we ended up leaving that area and drove to Mill Creek Canyon. And for those of you that don't know, Mill Creek Canyon, it's about a 20-minute drive from Salt Lake. So that's where this video is taking place. This particular trail has two different spots where a stream runs through it. And I think earlier in the video I said river. These are definitely not rivers. It's a stream or a creek, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, I used the water in this stream right here to cool off on my way to the halfway point and on my way back. And then right at the halfway point of my run, there's also another stream, so I used that. I ended up wetting my shirt like 3 different times. It was so wonderful. I really feel like it made a difference in my day and an experience. Also, this trail ended up having way more shade than the original route that I planned on going. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I ended up being super fortunate on this really hot day to have shade and water to cool me down. It made all the difference in a 50-mile run.
Such a great day today. It's hot, there's a little bit of a breeze. Everything's so green and alive. Just happy. Okay, so I made it to 7 miles. I'm supposed to do 15 miles today, but the trail, I don't know, this road's like closed off. And if I were to go a half mile up, it's literally all uphill. And it's gonna take too long. So I might do some extra mileage on the way back. There's another trail I'm thinking of continuing on to get that extra mileage, but we'll see. There's people coming. I just had the banana, I don't know, baby food, and then some sort of like fruit and veggie strip. It's pretty good. There's a stream down here. I think I'm gonna try and wet my shirt on. So you can see right there. Alright. It feels so much better when it's all wet. So this is the first time that I've had like a long sleeve UPF, I don't know, shirt, technical shirt, whatever. And I've gotta say, I absolutely am loving it. Actually, I'm gonna keep this off a little bit. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Super dope. Got it from Cotopaxi. So, next thing, I'm switching out my water bottles. So I am putting my water bottles that I finished drinking. Oh, let's have a little more. Side note, I think it would be great to have some sort of water bottle filter. So like trails like this, I can replenish myself. I still have 2 more bottles. So I have this 300 milliliter, 400 milliliter with electrolytes, and this one's 500, and that's just water. So I have that in the back of my pack. I'm throwing it in the front now, and then I am throwing my used bottles in the back.
Alright, we are in real time here. I didn't end up recording the other half of my run, so my turnaround point, my GoPro died on me. And I don't know if it was because of the heat or maybe it was the heat that killed my battery. I will say GoPro, at least in my experience so far, when the weather is too cold or too hot, it ends up dying on me. And I don't know if that's a battery problem. I mean, I guess what else would it be? Anyways, I didn't end up recording the rest of the run because of that, but I will recap the rest of the run, or I'll recap how I feel overall. Overall, the run went really great. I feel that I had a lot of good takeaways from the run. The main things that I wanted to test out was the nutrition, and then also the new sun hoodie that I had mentioned that I brought. So the nutrition aspect of this, I used in the past a lot of gels. Essentially, I would do sports nutrition, things that I would buy or that you could buy at a running shop, like a specialty running store. But moving forward, I do want to lean a little bit more away from that because I feel that running nutrition is just expensive, and I feel that there are other foods in the grocery stores that can fulfill those same requirements of the sugar that you might need, the carb amount, the calories, etc., etc. And that's essentially what I was trying to do here. I ended up not liking the granola bars, and I didn't end up liking the granola balls. And the reason for that is that they were just way too dry. But the thing is, I like to run and eat food on my run. Like, I like to chew on something. I have raced before with just pure gels, and the times that I have had only gels on my races, I'd end up going to the porta potty, like going to the bathroom many times. But when I do mix gels with a real food like a granola bar or something along that line, then I realize that I don't have that GI issue. And so I really just want to try and stick to maybe either more solid foods or foods that don't have, I feel like maybe it's just more solid foods that I need to stick to. I mean, the baby food that I tried in the run, it didn't upset my stomach. And I actually, now that I think about it, I don't think that it is the gels themselves that upset my stomach. I think it is if I strictly am fueling myself with this like more liquid nutrition. If I have gels, but I also mix it in with real food like a granola bar or granola balls, something around that line, then I think that my body will be good. But anyways, to close it on the whole nutrition thing, I really like the fruit strips, so I'm going to keep the fruit strips. My body really jived with that. I'm going to remove the dryness of those granola products, but I did see a YouTuber, her name's Amanda Kimiko, and she had packed ones, I don't know if it was a race or a training run or what, but it was the brand Bobo's, and theirs, I believe, are oatmeal based little things that kind of look like Aussie Bites, and then they also have like little peanut butter sandwich stuff. But I want to try those out because they don't look as dry. Like, they look like they have some moisture to it, and I wonder if that'll be easier for me to eat on my runs. Yeah, I'm gonna try that next time. I know they have them at Costco, so I'm gonna try that, report back. And then for hydration, the amount that I had, the water, I think I ended up running out of water when I had that last mile. So maybe like another small soft flask would have helped. I had 4 flasks in total, but 2 of them were only, I think, 300 milliliters or 200 milliliters. And then the other 2 were 500 milliliters. And I think that maybe 1 more small flask would have been sufficient, especially because it was such a hot day. But I am also a big sweater when it comes to running and I feel that I like to have more water anyways. And then I also felt that I had enough sodium or enough electrolytes. And then as far as the sun hoodie, I actually brought it with me here so I could show you guys. But I overall really liked it. What I really liked about it was it was super breathable, and I believe that that's kind of the point of the sun hoodies, is that it protects you from the sun, but it's supposed to be breathable so you are able to run with it. That's my understanding, or at least the way that they're advertised, is that you could go on adventures and it'll keep you cool. And I can't imagine that they'd have something super thick that you would go on a sunny adventure on. But anyways, besides the point, this was it. I really liked the hood here. This one is from Cotopaxi, and I specifically got this one because it had a shorter length. It felt more cropped than the other brands that I tried, and I'm only 5'3". I don't have a long torso, and I just felt that this was really proportionate to me compared to the other sun hoodies. So yeah, really like this brand slash this product. All right, as far as my other running gear, this is the Advanced Skin 5 from Solomon. Mine came with an insulation for a bladder, and in the past during races, I have done bladders, I've done soft flasks, I've done a mix of both. For this run, I only did soft flasks, and I put 2 here, and then I put 2 where the bladder pouch would have been sitting, and I think that it works really great. I've had this vest since 2021, and it's really lasted a good long time, and I wash it constantly because I only have this and one other vest, and I only wear them once because, again, I sweat. It stayed pretty well conditioned. Like, it's barely just starting to get some holes, but the holes are from my trail running because I get stuck in, not stuck, but you know, you're running through bushes, you weed whack sometimes, and you can't avoid all the sticks and twigs and branches and things that stick out. And yeah, it works really great. I absolutely love it. As far as distances that I'd wear this in, I think it's dependent on each individual, but certain distances will require more fuel, more hydration, and I would look, if you are interested in a running vest and you haven't had one yet, or you're trying to upgrade, make sure that you double check the capacity, the carrying capacity of the running vest, because it might be an overkill if you're running a 5K and you're wearing this to host all of your water. Again, you know, who knows, maybe you do run a 5K and you want a ton of water, and that's totally fine. Or maybe you're running in conditions that might warrant you bringing additional gear outside of your food and nutrition. So just take that into consideration. I would wear this anything past a like a half marathon, so like half marathon and up. I am going to be training in the future for a 50K, and I will most likely have this as well. I feel like it has more than enough storage. As far as a 50 miler, I might upgrade to a higher capacity one, but I'm not at that point yet. For all I know, maybe I'll get there and realize that I want to stick to this. But yeah, this worked really great. Highly recommend. Have been using it for years and have loved it. All right, and then I have my little CLE hat. It is awesome. I think in the video, actually, my husband's wearing this one, but all of my running hats are from the CLE brand. This one is specifically the Go Cap SC, and that is one thing that I do like about CLE, is that they have different styles and fits, and they have the list of it, or they have the name of the fit inside the cap, but you can also see it online. But I really like these because they are so lightweight, very breathable, it dries really quick, and the colors are just cool. I have a lot of different colors so I can match a lot of my different outfits and things. Yeah, a 10 out of 10, love this hat. And then for socks, I wore specifically the CEP socks. CEP, their socks, I don't know if it's all of them, but they have medically graded socks that compress really well. This particular pair isn't one of their medically graded compression socks. It's just a long sock, and I like to wear long socks here and there to help with not, especially when I'm wearing shorts, so that I'm not getting like twigs and things scratching me. Just trying to avoid excess dirt getting into my sock line. I also like the color of this one, and overall just cool socks, like no other notes. CP makes good socks. Okay, lastly, the last piece of gear that I wanted to talk about is the Lululemon Align biker shorts. Bomb.com. These shorts are amazing. I own this and another pair, and I have raced solely in my Lululemon shorts because of two things. First one is that I have thick thighs and I chafe a lot in shorts, and even other biker shorts that I have, they will ride up, but something about this fabric or this material, it really doesn't ride up on me. Or if it does ride up, it only does it a little bit, and I have never ever chafed in these shorts. And again, mind you, I do have thicker thighs and they always touch when I'm running, like there's no avoiding it, but I definitely have chafed in other shorts, other baggy shorts, other biker shorts, but just not these ones. I don't know what it is. And it's funny because the Align fabric is meant for yoga, but I think because, and this brings me into my second reason why I love them, is that the material it just moves really well with your body. So I understand why people like it with yoga, because you're in all these different positions and it moves with you and there's no restrictions. And that's how I feel about these Lululemon Align shorts, is that I feel like I'm not restricted, it's not overly compressive, and it just, I don't know, it just fits so well with my body. I feel comfortable. I don't even have to think about my shorts chafing me or riding in a weird way or digging into me. They just work so great. And I'm not a huge Lululemon person. Like I own maybe a couple of shorts, maybe a couple, like a legging, and then a hoodie or a zip up. But aside from that, so maybe I am, I don't know. I don't actively look at their stuff, but I know what I like, and I like these. So I highly recommend, especially if you get prone to chafing. This is the 5-inch. I can't say anything about anything that's a lower length, and now that I think about it, I actually do have a 7-inch biker short from Lululemon, and I have also raced in those, and they hold even better. So yeah, just try to put people on this if they haven't tried running in this material before. All in all, it was a great run. I had some good gear with me that was able to carry me those 15 miles in those hot conditions. I don't even remember what the temperature is, but just take my word for it. It's in the summer in Salt Lake. The sun was shining. It was hot, okay? And I really attribute that to a couple of things. Really, I felt that I was on my game with nutrition and hydration. Also, I felt that the trail that I picked, even though it was unintentional in the beginning, the trail was great. It had a lot of shade. It had spots for me to take my shirt off, cool down in the water, in the creek. And then also I felt that the gear that I had really helped carry me through. The sun hoodie was game changer. My hat, my shorts, my socks, my running shoes. I didn't even talk about my running shoes. I wore the Hoka Speed Go. I'm usually an ultra girly, but I do really like the Speed Go every now and then. And I don't know, maybe I'm more shoe agnostic, but anyways, besides the point. And then also I forgot to mention that, I wasn't recording my entire run, right? And I don't record everything, but I did do stops I guess I did record some of those, but I did stop when I passed by a little body of water, and I did stop when I would eat my nutrition, even if it was just for like a minute or two. But I think that that's important to note, because I take the approach of running to have longevity in the sport. And so in order to have longevity, I need to make sure that I am not making myself prone to injury or overuse, or I guess that could lead to injury too. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to do stops when you're running, when you're trail running. It's okay to walk the flats every now and then. It's definitely okay to walk the uphills. And if you are at a higher heart rate and maybe you're not trying to do heart rate training that day, like you're not trying to do an all-out effort or speed work or something like that, like take care of yourself. Make sure that if you don't have control of your heart rate, walk, slow down. Like make sure that you take into consideration the fact that it might be really hot that day, or it might be really humid, and that's going to affect your heart rate. And ultimately, you're doing this sport, you're running, you're out there because you are trying to improve your well-being. You're working towards some sort of race, some sort of goal. And if you want to have that longevity or reach that goal, you have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So don't let ego get in the way. Enjoy the process of getting better. Enjoy the process of learning what works for you and what doesn't. And again, it is a process. So you're not going to get better overnight. Take those breaks, take those walks, and you'll continue to enjoy the sport. You'll continue to grow into this. I feel that running is so much fun, and it is really hard, and it is very challenging. And sometimes, you know, if you start thinking of all the things that are bugging you, it's hot, it's windy, I have too much gear on, like I'm getting annoyed because there's mountain bikers constantly passing me, or I'm getting annoyed because I have to stop at every stoplight, then the fun can definitely, I don't know, not be at the forefront of your mind. But ultimately, I think running is fun, and I hope that if you are running, or if you haven't started to but want to, that you take a chance on it and you stay consistent so that you can grow to see how wonderful running is, not just for your longevity and well-being in life, but it's just like a fun thing to do. I don't know, I just think it's cool. The body's capable of a lot of cool stuff. Running is a pretty easy entry into physical activity. I say easy, I know there's some people that it might, you know, that might not be possible for, but it has a lower barrier to entry, I would say, than other things like jet skiing, parasailing, things like that. But overall, yeah, I just love running, and I just wanted to share my experience with my trail run today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.